Welcome back to the Dolor Factor. I'm here with Dr. Erika Joseph, and we're hoping, and I'm sure we will, once you've got the right mindset, to encourage you to make that first step in the right direction or continued steps so that you can grow. Now, when I met the doctor, she actually showed me some of her books. Yes, she is an author, and you can get those books here in Dominica. And I thought it would be a really good idea to go through these. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to give you a little test and a little taste of what's in these books, and maybe they will help you to continue with those steps of growth. Now, the one that I wanted to start with is called The Power of Your Will. Why did you decide to call it The Power of Your Will?
Because when I think from experience, the problems that I've been through, it helped me, just experiencing those problems helped me to realize that my God-given gifts, one of them is actually my willpower, the power of my will. And that at some point in life, I was not really making use of it. It was just there, you know?
Did you think that because you had come to a crossroads of your life? Or it was just one of those things one day you just thought?
No. It was a challenges. And you master one challenge, and then you find instantly another one comes up. So I had to take it a step further and just shed some light on the power of the will. And I mean, it's so important when you know. You may not have a trained mind. You may be out there right now and your mind is just not trained. But the fact that you know that you have willpower, because I mean, you have choice. So once you have choice, it means that there is willpower. You have thoughts, which is free. So that is where the power of will comes from.
But the power of will means that you need to have self-discipline.
You need to.
Which is very difficult for some.
It's challenging. It's challenging. But if right now, presently, I can call myself a self-discipline master because that is one of my brands. I operate under the brand. But it does not mean that you are not able to reach that level. You can start now where you are, just by the way of your thinking and taking the first little step, the smallest step. It doesn't matter, you know, whatever you're going through. But you take that first step, and that is a great step.
Is there anything that you could share with us that would demonstrate that in terms of, because I know there are lots of viewers who may have these issues and say, it's all right for her to say she's done something, but
or she has not experienced
she hasn't experienced anything. Yeah.
Yes, but I would like to shed some light on one of the experiences I've had. And that was in my maybe younger days, before I started my own business. I purchased a brand new car, and at the time it was the only car on the island. Now I was young, and being a young, individual able to purchase your car, and then I had a night job, a day job, and then the terrifying thing was when I trusted one particular person to drive that car, and that person wrecked that car and left me with a burden of financial debts, and then when you put a trust into a friend, and you are not expecting that friend to go against that trust. You do not need anything in written agreement because you trust that friend. And I can tell you, I had a day of my life when that happened. I went from having no car to having no day job to having no night job, and it was just like a domino effect in my life, and I feel like my world was just crashed in front of me. And then I experienced that, like, for me at the time there was no purpose for living. You understand? So I experienced low self-esteem, I experienced sadness, like putting an end to my life in the sense that, my God, what am I going to do? You understand? And I have nowhere to turn.
Now you say that, putting an end to my life. Do you mean that in reality, in terms of you actually contemplated suicide?
Well, not in that sense to really take my own life, but I felt like I was already experiencing, I had no life, like it was just dead.
And I say that because there are so many people, especially in the Caribbean these days, the rate of suicide is just so alarming. And in a way, what hurts me about it? It's like it's not even any news anymore. It's an expectation.
It is.
It's an expectation to hear that someone has committed suicide. And it's because a lot of the time, there are lots of factors. There could be mental issues, but there could also be just living issues.
Sometimes there are no mental issues. That's the sad part of it. You see the person healthy today and gone tomorrow, and you are trying to figure out why. Because sometimes you know it's suicide, yes, but there is no suicide note left behind. And you may never know the reason why the person at that point in time took, his or her life. And that is the sad part.
How did you bounce back from that terrible circumstance?
Well, the thought had crossed my mind, but I decided that I would not give up. What makes it worse when you experience such challenges is when you have some persons at a time trying to push you further into your challenges and your stress and your sadness. And you may find one or two persons trying to tell you, okay, well, come on, you can do it, do not give up. But that person was a voice from within, and that was my willpower fighting back. And then I realized that I had that gift of willpower, and I started fine-tuning it. I had no idea how I would really, get from that point to that point. But then, the fact that I tuned it up, I am here today.
That's like a classic case of a woman's intuition, which we hear. I think women hear this a lot in terms of something inside us telling us to do something, and then in the end we say, oh, I should have listened to myself. Yes. And we didn't do anything about it. Most of the time it's something negative. Right. Something happens, we don't listen, and then we get the negative of it. Why can't we take that intuition and do it so that it becomes a positive?
Well, I think sometimes, to be honest with you, it's challenging, but why most persons at the time do not think of doing anything about it, I think because they do not know the workings of their mind with regard to the intuition and the intuitive thoughts. Because another gift that we have, combined with the power of will, is the power of thought. And you may think positively, negatively at times, but you have to know which one to choose, and you cannot allow your negative thoughts to dominate your positive thoughts. So I think that is part of the reason why you find persons just go in and out of life by their mind or their thoughts, their negative thoughts, controlling their lives and their actions.
It's all well and good for us to be saying those kind of things, but let's perhaps think now of offering some form of positivity or some form of solution. We hear a lot about mantras. We hear a lot about repeating certain things to encourage us. Yes, affirmations. And I have to say that works for me, but I did not start it in a spiritual way. I started it in a very day-to-day thing. And I remember I must have been about 10, 11, something like that. And at home there were 4 of us. I'm the eldest. I have 2 sisters and a brother. And I was always said, my mom used to say to me, it's on a Monday, it's your turn to wash the dishes. I used to hate washing those dishes. I used to hate it so much. I preferred ironing. Now, no one likes ironing, but I loved ironing. And I would try to swap with them. And my mom said, no, you're not swapping. You have to wash the dishes on a Monday. And I realized that I couldn't get away from it. I just had to do it. So I started to think, you know what? I can't get away from it. I have to do it. So let me start to tell myself I like to wash the dishes. Right. And that's how I succeeded in washing the dishes and not minding washing the dishes. And then I said, okay, it's not just a matter of washing the dishes. When I used to scrub those pans, I would make them shine, because then I wanted my parents to say, oh, where one time, anytime that Delia washes the dishes, we know because the pots shine.
Well, you took passion.
Yes.
And then what again you did is repetition and then a lot of action, because you cannot start without the action part of it. No ifs, no buts, no maybe, which that's what you did. You had to do it, you did it. And that is basically what we have to do right now, wherever you are around the world. I'm not going to focus on what you're going through, because I know it all brings you back to what you're going through, all brings us back to the same experience of sadness, frustration, and low self-esteem. The important factor you have to focus on right now is making a start, taking that small step. No excuse.
Okay, you said it. You heard the doctor. No excuses. We'll be right back.